together when you were a shooter, and then you went to work for Able, and were there for many years, yeah?
I was at Able Cine for about 7.5 years. I was shooting for a good 15, I don't know, almost 20 years before then, and now I'm at the Convergent Design. I'm the Director of Communications.
All right, so what do you do at Convergent Design, and what are you going to show us today? It's a two-parter.
Well, Director of Communications means I'm doing this. I'm doing outreach. I'm on the forums and stuff. I talk to people all the time. I also talk to other manufacturers because, of course, we are effectively an accessory to other people's products. And so it's a lot of us to them and then us out to the world as well. So we have a lot of interconnection to people. So I do a lot of that work. And also, we're a relatively small company, so I'm sort of, one of the principals involved in helping decide what we do and how we get things done.
Do you also run, I know at Able you were running a very popular sort of, tech blog and sort of an instructional side of their company. Are you doing some of that here?
I do. I mean, outreach comes in many forms. And so we do a lot of videos. I mean, I do a video like this with you, but I also do some videos that we have on our own website as well as going out to other places. And so it's really, to me, about get the information out there to people, and if you have to do it a dozen different ways, you throw the spaghetti on the wall and whatever sticks. It's however you can reach someone.
Well, I've watched some of your videos, and I'm going to tell you at home, you are a wealth of knowledge. And a lot of people try to do videos, and they have to sort of study up, or they have the crib sheet so they know the technology they're talking about. I never felt that there was an item on a table full of things that you didn't know everything about, and that's part of the benefit of being as old as we are, yes?
I guess so. I mean, it's, a lot of it is really about perspective. You really want, I always try and talk from the perspective of the guy who's going to use it in the end, because manufacturers have the reasons why they did things a certain way, but the end guy doesn't really care. He just wants to know about his job, his tasks, and what he needs to accomplish. And often they are one and the same. It's just that the manufacturer doesn't necessarily know how to voice it in that way. You have to speak in a way that the people who are using the device understand and it means something to them. Sometimes the manufacturers don't even realize they've done something that, wow, this is really, really important. When Canon came out with the 5D, that Mark II, and it had, oh yeah, we're going to put some video thing in there. They didn't even realize what they had on their hands, and it changed the world, And
I thought Nikon beat them to the punch of the D90. Am I misremembering?
You're misremembering. I mean, there was video that was available. There was all standard def kind of thing. It was the first real professional output of on a DSLR came from Canon, and it really shook people up and changed the way people thought about image capture on a high level.
I remember, I have a Mark III, and the firmware update that allowed me to go clean HDMI out to something like the box you're holding now was, this is my segue, by the way.
Lovely.
Yes, that was a godsend, right? It was, and suddenly you could actually unleash the capabilities of that incredibly gigantic, or ginormous, as Jem Schofield would say, sensor. So,
well, the thing with cameras for many, many, many decades is that it was an enclosed system. And when you thought of what the camera was, it was a complete device. It was the lens to the image capturing sensor device, or whether it was film or whatever. And then it was the recording medium and the capture medium. And you don't have to have that anymore. You can separate these things out. And so a lot of these cameras might be limited in what they can record directly on board because they want to keep the size down, they want to keep the price down, they want to keep the weight down, they want to keep it so that you can record a lot of material onto a tiny little card and be able to just output it that way for the mom and pops of the world or the new shooters of the world. But when you want to have something higher level, the head end of the camera could do it. It's just they never had a way to record it right there. So now they're letting that output out the back of the machines, and that's where little recorders start coming in. So you have a whole world
Show me.
of
What is
these
this?
devices.
What do we got?
Well, last year we introduced the Odyssey 7Q, which is an OLED monitor as well as recorder. You have SSD drives that go in the top, and you can record not only HD, but you could record 4K, and you could record RAW, and you could record high frame rate, and you could take up to 4 SDI signals in at once and be able to have 4 different camera feeds and stuff. I mean, lots and lots of capabilities. It's a fantastic machine. It only weighs about a pound. Really amazing capabilities. a lot of people think that's okay, fantastic, fabulous. But if I don't need all of that capability, can I have a slimmed down version of that? So what we have is introducing here at the show today. This is the Odyssey 7. This is the we've announced it previously, but this is actually here's the first unit.
Okay.
Odyssey 7 is the exact same monitor. It's an OLED screen, so really this is a reference image screen.
I'm going to hold it up so they can...
There we are.
Do we need to hold it closer?
Yeah, coming at you like 3D. All
We
right?
can zoom in, but not optically.
All right. Well, anyway, there it is. That's the Odyssey 7, and it's a 1280 by 720 image area on the screen. It's actually larger than that, so we have the menus on the top and bottom. They never go over top of the screen, over your image. But by having an HD resolution image, and it's an OLED panel, so you have true blacks and really excellent colors. I mean, this is a reference grade monitor. You can actually light off of this monitor. You can set your lighting, you can set your exposure, you can really pull focus, all of these things. It's a no compromise screen. It's not like, oh, I have a recorder and yeah, there's a monitor there, I can kind of see what I'm doing. No. This is, a lot of people are buying these just to have as a monitor, and they're like, oh, maybe I'll record on it. Maybe I might do
It's
that.
as cheap as a monitor that
I like to say as well priced.
I shouldn't use the word cheap.
It is top grade stuff, but it's yes, it is,
and it weighs nothing.
It weighs It's a magnesium alloy case, so that way we're able to make it very, very lightweight. So at $1,295 retail, $1,295 retail, records Apple ProRes 422 HQ. It'll also, we're going to add more codecs and such, so that'll be and that'll just be firmware upgrades for free. So, but right now you're able to record at an excellent image quality and record right on this device. And yeah, by the way, it's also your fantastic monitor. It's a touch screen, so it's really like using an iPad. I mean, it's that straightforward to do. It's got waveform, it's got vector scope, it's got a histogram, it's got focus assist, it's got zoom to pixel zoom in, you've got false color modes, you have frame line guides and such. Really a no holds barred, no compromise image quality monitor. So it's really top notch, and by the way, a top flight recorder as well at an amazing price.
Now this records to SSD drives.
SSD drives, I didn't have any with me at the moment, but they slip it right on the top here, and we have them in 256, 512, and we're actually announcing today that we're going to have a terabyte drive that's going to ship in the beginning of the fall. And I mean, in ProRes 422 HQ at 24 frames a second, I think 256 gives you 2.5 hours, 2 hours 45 minutes.
Why would you even want a terabyte? Two terabytes in there?
You could shoot all day.
But you could lose your entire day.
Well, not with our drives.
Oh, no, I don't mean, by the way, I'm not talking about drive quality, but remember when someone would lose a tape, but you were only shooting on 20-minute betas, and that was all you lost? Someone could lose one of those.
Well, let me tell you, though, I mean, if you're doing it on here, you're probably going to pay attention to where you put the thing.
So.
It's like 2.5 by 3.5 inches, so you'll find it. But importantly, this drive, it's different than everybody else's drive. First off, you have to use our drives, and there's a reason. One, we test every single one actually on the machines. We actually know they work. Two, we have a power save mode, and that power save mode is so that if the battery died or someone pulled out the cable or some crazy thing, whatever, on other systems, not only would it corrupt the file, but you, in theory, could corrupt an entire drive. On other record systems, you could corrupt the entire drive, and everything you've shot, hours and hours of footage, all gone, all not savable, all just destroyed. That's a freaking tragedy.
What was the first with a FireWire recorder, the Firestore, that just dumped everybody's...
Right. I mean, there were things
We've come
out
a long way.
Yeah, we've come a long, long way. These are solid-state drives, so you don't have to worry about shaking them around and anything. We don't believe in using hard drives, because not when you're on a portable device. I mean, you shake it around, it could be destroyed. So again, these drives are totally safe, and they maintain their read-write speeds. You have other drives out there that they'll give a spec. Manufacturers can kind of exaggerate. That's their speed when it's empty and it's brand new. But if you've used it 500 times, or if you fill it up to, say, 60, 70%, suddenly it's fragmented, that information all over the drive, and it can't maintain its speed, and you start dropping frames, and it ruins your stuff. Our drives don't do any of that. So we maintain speed, we've tested every single one, they work great, and they have the power save mode. So if it shuts down, it actually has a little capacitive circuit inside the drive. It closes out your file, so it protects it. Maybe you'll lose the last second or something, but it's safe. And then when you turn the thing back on, it builds the directory again. It's all set, and you can just keep shooting, and there's nothing wrong with your material. Everything is safe on the Odyssey 7Q. I mean, this is a really
So what are the prices of the? Let's go through the 255, 12, and the 1 terabyte drives.
So the we don't have a price announced yet on the 1 terabyte, but the 256 is $395. The 512 is $795. So imagine it's probably going to go in that kind of same scale up from that. The Odyssey 7 is $1295. The 7Q is $2295, and it has a bunch of capabilities that in that device. There's also another thing that we're announcing today, which is really a nice sort of partnership thing that Sony is doing. One of the cameras that people really have embraced the Odyssey 7Q, the big brother to this, has been the FS700. It's a great camera on its own, but it's an HD camera. And like we were talking about before, where they can output certain things, they can record certain things. Well, internally, it records HD. And it does it in AVC HD, which can get a lot of material on a tiny little SD card, but it's pretty heavily compressed because of that. And even outputting its HD signal just to like a regular recorder, it's an 8-bit structure and stuff. So it only has so much information that it sends out that way.
Right.
But the camera itself is capable of outputting 4K RAW, 2K or 4K RAW.
Right.
So the Odyssey 7Q can record that. We can record 4K RAW up to 60 frames a second. We can record 2K RAW up to 240 frames a second, continuously. You put the big drives in there, you can shoot for 20 minutes, play it back at 24 frames, and you're at 200 minutes. It's a lot of material that you have there. If you are in 4K, you can take that. We'll soon be able to record that in 4K in a compressed video format. That'll be a free firmware upgrade. But we also have 4K RAW, take that and turn it into HD video that we would then record in Apple ProRes 422 HQ. So it's a much higher recording than you can get straight out of the camera any other way, because we access directly to the RAW. So all of that together made Sony, it's been really popular with the camera. So Sony was like, well, let's try and solve this for people rather than trying to piecemeal all the little things together. It's the kind of thing I used to do at my old job a lot, like package things out. So we made a package that is the camera with their motorized zoom, 18 to 200, that you actually motorized smooth moves and stuff on it. It has Odyssey 7Q with a couple of the 256 gig drives. You have a Vocus base plate system with mounts for everything, and for the hand grip and for the Odyssey, a bunch of batteries so you can run the camera. We have a battery back that goes with the Odysseys so that it runs on the same battery as the camera, so that it all integrates together nicely. And then they have a case for the whole thing. You just drop it in. And it makes for a really nice, comfortable shoulder mount rig, or you can put it on a tripod and rig this wherever you might want to go and stuff. It's a really well thought out thing. So they just announced that today as a new sort of pack.
Street price or not yet?
I think they have two versions, one with a lens, one without. And the list price, I don't know what the Street's going to end up being, but list price I think is around 13 grand, and I think that probably means shave off a couple thousand for what the Street will probably end up being at certain places. But you're talking about a 4K and high speed and video, excellent video, kit complete with an excellent lighting grade, exposure grade monitor, all together for like $12,000-$13,000. I mean, that's really a very competitive deal. I mean, you don't have any other devices, any systems out there that'll do all those things for you at that kind of price point. It's really very versatile, and it looks fantastic. That camera, again, with you match it with the Odyssey, you're talking about 14 and a half stops of dynamic range, a base ISO in RAW of 2000. I mean, you've got a lot of capability there.
Now, you used to deal in the Alexa, so put it up against that. Competitive in every, because that is like sort of everyone's dream camera.
I guess that's like the mark. It used to be film we always benchmarked against. Now people are like, I'm going to benchmark against the Alexa. Look, the Alexa is lovely. We support that as well on the Odyssey 7Q, so you can record ARRI RAW on that. So there's a lot of people who use those combinations together. And one of our recorders was used on Nebraska shooting on Alexa, and there's lots of productions that shoot that way all the time because it's very convenient. I would say that for a lot of purposes, especially if you're going to do the 4K and you're going to turn it into HD, which, let's face it, people shooting on Alexa, I would say 90% of the work, 95% of the work that's done on Alexa just records to ProRes on the cards. So if that's the case anyway, I think you could put those up next to each other and you'd be pleasantly surprised by how nice the image is out of that kit. I'm never going to shy away from Alexa. It's a lovely, lovely camera. And we support other cameras as well, the C500. Really gorgeous, color science that's behind that camera. They have a 12-bit mode for RGB that is just in 2K mode. It's really, really lovely. So we're working towards supporting everything that camera outputs and stuff. It's,
You also said you got support for the Digital Bolex?
Yeah, well, Digital Bolex will record internally in RAW, so it doesn't need a RAW recorder.
But it needs a viewfinder.
But what they did is to help keep the price down on that, they have a rudimentary at best viewfinder, and so that's where it slips its sucker right on top, and suddenly you can really set your exposures. You can set, you can design what you're shooting properly with a great monitor. And oh, by the way, if you want to use that monitor to record in an HD signal, which, let's face it, most of the time that's what you really just need. Maybe I'm not going to record this time on the internal media. Maybe I'll just record it right on my Odyssey, and then I'm all set.
Well, they've told me that we're out of time. I knew we were going to just talk and talk and talk. I want to talk about our kids and the public school system, but that's all New York stuff. We'll get to that later. Where can people find you guys?
So we have a whole network of dealers and such, so people can find our stuff through that. But go to convergent-design.com for information about all our products, lots of my videos and stuff, lots of information available that way. If people are here at the show, we're on stage 32.
Okay, well, it looks like we're out of time here. We're going to go back to Michael in the other place. It's not a studio. We're out in the field. To you, Mike.